today's tropical weather updates. As conditions continue to stay very unfavorable throughout the North Atlantic, we don't have much to talk about here last in news. But we are monitoring a couple of areas. So I haven't made a map today because there's nothing. We've gotten rid of that 10% area down here. 94L is currently moving inland and is set to dissipate soon. And other than that, we don't have too much going on. So here's those couple areas we are watching. So that's a tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa right here. That's going to be moving throughout the same area, kind of moving that way before making its way into the Caribbean. That's our first tropical wave we're going to be watching, but that's probably going to be making its way. It's probably going to be making its way into South Africa or America. So that's where it's not really expected to develop, and we do have the Saharan dust throughout this area, which is going to prevent that from developing. We still have a couple bursts of convection in the Caribbean, but still very low. We have very unfavorable conditions, very high wind shear throughout the Atlantic, as we've been talking about in the last couple of days. In terms of current storms, no current tropical storm active, and then we do not have any invest in the ocean either. Look at the satellite imagery for the Atlantic Ocean. Again, here's that tropical wave off the coast right here that I was talking about. It's looking not too bad, Here's that tropical. Here's that area that we were watching that is completely dissipated. And here's Invest 94L up here. Well inland at that point. Here's that burst of convection I was talking about near that Central American gyre. So that is what we do have going on. Now, that doesn't look too bad. I could have put that as a 10%, but I just don't see that developing at that point. You do see all that Saharan dust. Now, it is well north of the system. It does come, if it can get its act together into the Caribbean, we might add that 10 or 20% chance. We're also looking at this area for some potential development, but it's very, very unlikely at this point. So that probably won't happen. If we do look at the visible shortwave IR, again, look at that Saharan dust. I just want to point that out. See, this is all that dry air that's coming in. This is where we have dry air. Okay? This is where we have that dry air. This dry air, by the way, it's set to make its way throughout into Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, all the way in the U.S., which is going to prevent anything to form anywhere in the Gulf, the Caribbean, or off the coast of Africa. So this is going to really put a pause on the season, but it is well north of what we expected it to be. So I don't know if it's just going to set and move north instead of coming into the Caribbean, the Gulf like expected. But I'm not too sure about that. Here's that tropical wave right here. Again, and here's that flare of convection in that Central American gyre that I was talking about. So we're just going to have to see how that does develop out in the next couple of days. If you look at the water vapor imagery, you can see that dry air throughout the Atlantic right now. Lots of dry air right here also. Lots of dry air, which is just very unfavorable for development. It's pretty dry throughout the Atlantic right now. Now, in terms of forecast models, it looks like our next system is likely to be in the Gulf of Mexico. We're first going to do a quick look at the GFS because that's the one I like looking at the most. Here's that tropical wave right here, just to give you an idea. Here's that tropical wave right here, near the coast of Africa. Here's that area that I was saying we could watch for some potential development, and here's 94L. Now, going the next couple of days, again, staying very quiet, potential development right here, possibly, as a system's going to come through Florida in the next, in the next 42 hours. So that could be some potential development with this system right here. And the GFS dot show it develop, so we could be seeing this. I might mark it tomorrow in the next couple of days, and we do see that system develop into a short tropical depression. Again, another little system right here that could develop. Again, all those models aren't going to show anything forming throughout this area. They're all going to be forming well north. Again, but other than that, not many systems forming. Just lots of tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa. That's pretty much it. Now this high pressure is going to set, which is going to bring that dry air into the Caribbean and the Gulf, etc. Now I do want to point out we do get two systems developing in the East Pacific, but I don't really cover that East Pacific too much, which is why I'm not really showing it. Now we start to get more moisture in the Caribbean and the Gulf, and in the last few now in the last models they were showing a system actually moving, forming here and moving into the Gulf like Cristobal. They're not showing that anymore, at least the GFS isn't, but we can still expect some development there in this general area with this very potentially with all those systems. And I do think our next system soon we're going to have very favorable conditions throughout the Gulf uh, and the Caribbean. So I do think we're going to be seeing our next system in the Gulf or Caribbean. We're going to have very favorable conditions for that. Um, and I do think, again, when we get to that low, we do have that low pressure system that could form as it moves south, like happened last year. This also could move into the Gulf, forming something, and then we do have that low pressure system that could form into something as it moves into the Caribbean. So we're going to get more favorable conditions. But at the moment, areas we're going to be watching for tropical development in the next couple of days or week, one right here and one around here, according to the GFS, especially that one. I'm not really looking for this one, but run around here is going to be our next system that are going to be watching out for the potential Dolly with this. Now let's look with the CMC if it does show that system that we were looking at coming off the coast. So it does show that system actually, the CMC as well. Currently, it's not really there, but it does show that system coming off, kind of getting its act together, kind of like a Bertha slash Arthur situation where it crosses Florida, a little bit disorganized, crosses Florida, and then actually start kind of spinning and potentially form into something. So we're gonna have to watch for a potential system to cross over right here and move pretty much straight east. So this is gonna be our most, our next system that we're gonna watch for. If we do go to the Atlantic, though, it's currently not really there. I guess it's kind of like this area of thunderstorms right here we're watching. Kind of like, again, kind of like Arthur, we were looking at that area, Arthur and Bertha, and south of Florida. Now, will it move? I don't know. It does kind of show this kind of area kind of moving that way and potential forming something, but it's not. It's very disorganized, so it's very unlikely. And then I do know that 413 is marking this area with a 10% chance. So we're just gonna have to see. But this looks pretty good right here down there. But so next tropical development is gonna be probably either in that south part or anywhere in the Caribbean with this. So that's why we're watching out in the next couple of days. Thanks for watching today's tropical